Welcome back to the Network Training course. This is Module 1. Today we're looking at Principle 2, God's Heart for Children. We're all agreed that violence against children is wrong, but if we agree about that, then how is violence and mistreatment of children so widespread? Hearing stories of children and meeting them face to face reinforces the outrage that someone somewhere should have stepped in before things got so bad. Recognising the God-given value of every child, we are all working to take children out of darkness and into light by changing their pervading situations. Everything we do is to improve the lives of vulnerable children, whether through direct contact in child-focused programmes or indirectly by supporting those who care for them and promoting structural changes. But what does the Bible actually say, and what does it tell us about God's heart for children? We would recommend that you study using Viva's training course, Understanding God's Heart for Children, which is accessible on the Viva Learn website. It's written with the expectation that church congregations could sit together to do it and could consider how different scriptures might inform their thinking on the importance of children. It is essential to understand how we view childhood and how God views children. Do we know their needs, expectations, their aspirations? Are these different for babies, toddlers, young children and teenagers? What are their questions, characteristics, abilities, roles and responsibilities too? How do you understand their needs in these 6 areas? Spiritual, social, emotional, economic, intellectual and well-being. Before your network can take actions, do you understand the daily realities faced by children in your city? Can you define risks faced and resilience required? What factors influence children's vulnerability and how to make them more resilient? Children grow up. Do you know standard age-related benchmarks for development and transition and how these compare with local children's group? What rites of passage do you observe and how appropriate are these? Well, as Christians working for children, it's important that we have a view of children informed by the Bible. This training course, Understanding God's Heart for Children, on the Viva Learn website, would explore many Bible passages about children, and a few to consider are below. Number 1, Psalm 139, that says God knows intimately each person before they were born, and that each child is full of a gift from God. Secondly, from Esther, the book of Esther, we see that God uses a young person, a young woman, who saved a nation from death. Thirdly, we know in the New Testament that Jesus feeds 5,000 with the lunch of a little boy. There are many passages in Scripture about children, and these help to inform our view of children from a godly perspective. 1 Timothy 4 says, if children are spiritually nurtured from a young age, God can use them even as leaders in the church. And so we know that children are central to our work and our mission. We need to explore the significance of that centrality to ensure their involvement and advocacy. Viva values children as partners in our work. We do not see them simply as objects of our advocacy and care. When networks work with children, for children, their impact on children's situations increase over time. As Christians working for children, it's important that we think about what a child-friendly world would look like. When Jesus said, let the little children come and go, don't make them go away, he was emphasising how highly he values children and how important they are to him. Yet today life is often difficult for children. Around the world, many children suffer. As we write our values, we need to think about children who are at high risk due to adverse situations in the life they live today. We can find such children around the world and also in our own locality. Poverty, exploitation, neglect, abuse, illness, war, displacement. These may be some factors affecting your children locally. What was God's original intention for children? In the world God created, there was wholeness in human relationships, and people were good stewards of his creation, which would provide for the needs of all. But sin has marred and broken what was once whole. Despite this, we have the assurance that God's intention for all humankind, including children, is still at work today through the redeeming, reconciling, and restoring power of Christ's death and resurrection. A primary task of a new network is to explore the Bible together and discover God's vision and intention for children. As new understanding grows, networks will find ways to give children a voice and to be their advocates as well. This will vary within each local context and each national situation, so there needs to be an exploration and a defined sense for each network of what this looks like. Some children are very articulate in explaining the issues they face, either themselves or with the support of an adult. They may choose to speak from personal experience, peer research, where they ask other children what their concerns are. We encourage networks to spend some time researching international understandings of children. You can start by using the UNICEF guide, State of the World's Children. As Christians working for and with children, it's important that we have a clear vision and a clear reality. For networks to have a credible vision and credibility in the locality, as well as a strong foundation, members should review existing research about situations that children face. The role of the church and the role of parachurch organisations should be understood. All of this understanding contributes to a collective effort in making the world fit for children as God intended. And so we have two reflective questions for you this week. Firstly, what are you doing as a network to spend time understanding what God says about children? What could you do? And secondly, what information do you have at the moment about the situation in your locality for children? What will you do to find out up-to-date information that will help shape your response?